Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fan Forum. I'm joined by two pals of mine. I'm joined by Tom, top right. Are you top right? Yeah, you're top right, aren't you? Tom, top right, and Matt, one of the regulars as well. Normally, I'm at the games with Tom and the IPM lads, so it's good to have him just here on YouTube as well. And Matt, obviously, one of the patrons and a pal of ours as well. Right, lads. Well, I don't really know where to start, to be honest. It's been a meltdown online, an absolute meltdown, it has to be said. Leeds drawing, obviously, with West Bromwich Albion. And I just want to get your guys' thoughts on it, really, and on the game and just in general. Tom, will come to you, mate. Obviously, what was it like at the ground? How are you sort of feeling with it? What's your general synopsis, mate?
Well, I texted you last night and said I had a funny feeling about today, and I don't know. It was just like the ecstasy and the emotion of the last two games, with us being playing two sort of rivals at the top and winning so late. I just had a funny feeling that we were going to sort of come back down to earth with a bit of a bang today, and I think it sort of played out that way a little bit. First 10-15 minutes, really good. Came out the traps pretty quickly, and I think if we'd have sort of pressed on from that first that pressure kind of thing, I think a second goal sort of kills the game off. But I think Farke said in his post match that we sort of like expected like we'd won the game after we'd scored that first goal, and we were sort of passing it around a little bit sort of nonchalantly, without any sort of purpose, a bit lazy with the passes, and then they slowly sort of creep back into the game, and the fans were starting to get edgy, and then that goal was coming. They had a couple of chances where Adam Armstrong, I think, had got in a couple of times. Obviously, it was the other end of the pitch where we were, but few little moments that they had, and you just thought, maybe it's not going to play out the way we thought, and they sort of really frustrated us, especially that back end of that first half, and they definitely got what they deserved.
Yeah, I felt like that as well. Armstrong was up for it again, wasn't it? It did feel very much. That any time sort of rode on and Strout were getting hold of the ball in that first half in particular, he was pressing the life out of them. He was right up for it. At one point, he was giving Rode on a bit of an earful as well, which you could just tell he was bang up for this one. But I thought they got everything spot on. To be honest, Matt, I thought they were good. They were resolute. Malumbi and Mo at sort of controlled proceedings in the middle. They were finding gaps, and it's probably the first time this season I've really looked at Leeds at home. And when they came forward, West Bromwich Albion multiple times. I mean, they weren't all over us or anything like that, but when they were finding the pockets, I was thinking to myself a few times. I was thinking, there's chances for him here to get a few here, you know.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I agree. I think they were actually putting it on us quite a bit today, more than I thought they would get through to do. Similar as in, I thought we scored that first goal and it was a bit of that classic where we then just dropped off rather again than going forward to get that second goal. Do you know what? I had that feeling, when you go on holiday and you have a great time and then you come back to work and then you're a bit, a bit of an anticlimax today. After those great results, and then it just was a bit of a mixed performance. Do you know what's great? We didn't lose Connor, considering that they gave us a bit more trouble than I thought they would, but just a little bit frustrated today. The passing was a bit off, a bit stodgy, bit slow, and again we just didn't press for that second goal, which I think would have killed it off. Conceded an horrendous kind of poor goal with West Brom's goal. But they gave us just a bit more trouble than expected. Whether we were on a high and we were coming down, like I said, from the previous, fantastic performances, we were just a bit off today, and they hurt us in some ways. Subs were a bit late in the end, I think. Was Farke going for that draw at the end? Probably. But I haven't had a meltdown after today. I'm all right. We said before, when we play well and we win, then that's kind of positive, and potentially champions do that. But we played poor today, but still drew, didn't lose, got another point. So I'm actually okay today.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like that, didn't it, Tom? It felt maybe you're looking over that right shoulder for that Sheffield United result, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to go to Michael Dawson, and it's then it's going to say 2-2. But Yeah, I think second half, I did think we went for it second half. I don't think Farke was probably going for the draw personally. I just thought he probably thought that the players that we had out there could probably do the job, and I probably agreed to it to some extent. I thought the introduction of Joseph just gives us a little bit more movement up top there, bringing Perot in back into that 10, like we did it against Sheffield United the other night. And his first introduction was to get down that line, and unfortunately at the top of the bar.
Is that Tom? How do you look at that, mate? With Aronson at the minute, it's sort of 3 games where he's been mopped up a little bit, and Dan Neil, he's had Sousa sort of all over him, and today I thought sort of Malumbi and sort of Mo did a good job on him. I mean, where are you at with it, really? Is it just sort of like plug on in with Aronson, or is there a conversation maybe a little bit to introduce Peru as that number 10 and Joseph as that 9?
I think I'm sort of losing my tether with him. A lot of my mates are very anti-Aronson, I'll be honest, in terms of, I suppose, what Rutter gave us last season in that 10, just that spark and that bit of magic kind of thing. And you get the legs with Aronson, there's no doubt about it, but just with that quality, there was a ball that went over the top first half that he was running onto, and he just got caught up and he got the ball stuck between his feet, sort of like through one-on-one, and he sort of thought any other player would sort of get that out of his feet and maybe get a shot off, but Farke loves him, doesn't he? And he's probably going to stick with him till the death now, unless it's a forced change. But we just don't seem to be sort of getting anything out of him. And I just think we do ended up looking a better team when we make those changes, and we look a little bit more dynamic and we look a bit more controlled when Aronson's sort of scatty sort of play isn't there.
You a bit worried, Tom?
I'm getting. I shouldn't be worried. Like
it's just you're getting the old Leedsy vibes, aren't you?
Yeah, I just thought it would. I think I don't know who said it when we were at the game on Monday, but it would be so Leeds to win those 2 games and then drop points today, and it sort of played out that way as well. And I thought Sheffield going to QPR would have probably caused them a few issues, and I still hope it might do. Last 15 minutes, hope they get an equaliser, but I don't know. There's still 11 games to go. There's a lot of football to be played, a lot of football. But we'll see. We will see. I'm not throwing my toys out the pram just yet, and I don't think Farke is either. You don't go 17 games unbeaten and throw your toys out the pram. So I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I guess it's looking as well, isn't it, Matt? I mean, the big ones here is Burnley. You know, now Burnley have got to go to Cardiff, haven't they? And they've got to beat Cardiff, and obviously they've lost 3-0 today. Bashir Humphreys as well, their left back, is now out of the side, it looks like, for potentially the season. Now they can bring Perez in there and do all the other sides of it, but it is that defense broken up a little bit, of which has been so, you know, beneficial to them this season, and really is why they're in the position they're in. But overall, mate, I guess it's one of those today which you've just got to chalk off. I mean, I had Portsmouth as the game, to be honest. I had that as the game where I was thinking, I'm not that one, and you kind of win today, but maybe it kind of works the other way, and we go down to Portsmouth and win, and today's the blemish.
Yeah, I think today's the blemish. I think what we've got that psyche though ingrained from last season, where around about this time we had a bit of that drop off when we went into the playoffs last season. So I think some of us are still scarred a bit about that. So as soon as because we're on such a good run, and then to suddenly not stumble because we've drawn again. We've got to forget we haven't lost today. But when we were on such a machine winning run and then we stop with a draw, I think some of us are going to be a little bit just a little bit nervous because of what happened last season that we can remember. So I think Portsmouth, though, we should beat them. Pending other scores around us, but I think we should stay confident at the moment. We've got a better squad overall than last season going up to those playoffs. So I think we just need to be calm about it. And this isn't the wobble. This isn't the drop off. We've got a draw against a top 6 team. We were on a high previously, so we're just leveling out a bit now as we see those final 12 games in. So again, yeah, I'm being positive about it, mate.
Yeah. Interesting one I'll throw to you as well, Tom. What's happened with Ramazani? Just when we need an injection of something, surely is the answer. Surprise, Farke left him out again. I was kind of looking at James today, and I thought, Look, James has been great this season. I didn't think he was good today at all. Didn't think he was good, and I thought there'd have been maybe a little bit of a change there, whether or not it be, you know, Nonto. I know Nonto came on, didn't he? But he came on for Solomon. Was it a game where Ramazani should have been introduced for you, Tom, or do you think it was all right, the subs he made?
I mean, even at Sheffield United on Monday, I thought the last 15 minutes against Sheffield United at Bramall Lane.
Was he gone?
Gone.
See if it makes a surprise return. Go on, Matt. Do you want to answer that, mate?
Yeah. So, what was the question, mate?
It was just about Ramazani. Do you think he should have been introduced a bit earlier?
Yeah, I think Ramazani should have come on. Actually, again, don't know what's happening around there, but I just think with those sorts of games, Ramazani injects a bit of pace, a bit of unknown, a bit of unpredictability.
Yeah.
So again, Nonto came on the 78th, which is quite late. Joseph come on a bit on the 70-odd minute. I just think those changes a little bit late. And again, Ramazani coming on, I think, makes the difference. So I don't know. He was on the bench, so I don't know if he's injured, but I don't think he should be on the bench if he's injured.
No.
But yeah, we still need players like that just to, I think, change it when it's tight like this, 1-1, and we need to win. So I don't know what's happening around with that.
Yeah, getting to a few comments as well. I have to agree with Matt, says Rolling. Today was one of those games, lads. We didn't lose. We're still top. We're still going up. Just not a solid performance. It was a bit off, on and off, onwards and upwards. Jam says, yes, lads, disappointed today, but another point on the board. Rolling and Jam are all part of the Patreon, as is Matt. Kev says, the result is fine, not the end of the world, but we're pulled out of shape and didn't pull to our strengths out wide. I guess it's weird one, isn't it? Because you kind of look at maybe out wide in all the last 3 games, really, where it's not been fit and firing, has it? It's not been fit and firing throughout, you know, the last 3 games we've played. It's not been fluid all the time. It's been a bit stodgy. And Solomon in that first half against Sheffield United was probably Leeds' best player, I thought. But it wasn't like a consistent thing. And then you look at the Sunderland game, and then we came into it, didn't we, properly with our attacking flair, sort of 77 onwards, really. That's when we started to really press the thumb down on them. But there wasn't that much in terms of output against Sunderland either. And today, Matt, as well, it just seemed we couldn't really get that much from the players out wide. And I don't know, you know, obviously it's brilliant, isn't it? It's absolutely fantastic, the results that we've got, and obviously these late sort of goals. But I think Strout was just mentioning it. I was just watching his interview after the game, and he was saying it's sort of all well and good as getting these sort of wins at the end, but we don't want to make that a consistent pattern where it's like you sort of having that over reliance on late wins and late goals. You kind of need to, and that's kind of what they were doing today, wasn't it? We kind of got to the back end, and James was sort of through. He hit the side netting, didn't he? Obviously, Joseph had that chance, but I think maybe the wide players, there isn't that sort of consistency over the 90-minute spell. That's what I've been seeing a lot of post the game anyway.
Yeah, I think so. And the earlier bit goes back to that first point about getting the second goal after the first and really stamping our authority on and finishing teams off early. So we're not having to do that, what they call it, Farker time now, aren't they? The last few minutes and getting more goals. I think consistency is the word there, because when I was looking at the list of players, you know, you've got DJ, Firpo, Rothwell. When our key players are slightly off it, we struggle a bit, you know, from those wide areas, and we get that inconsistency from those players. I don't think it's a coincidence those games, last few games, when we've been doing better, when all those guys are on fire, we are good. Thrown onto some appearances in there from him. We need Ramazani though extra, like we've said, but it's just that consistency, and I just hope that consistency continues though to the end of the season. What I found today though, Connor, was that it was the final ball again. So Dan James, you know, he's been brilliant, don't get me wrong, but again, he's not looking up today. He had one of his off days with that final ball, the crossing at the end. He should have scored. Remind me of that playoff situation as well. Unfortunately, it still burns in me. So when he hit the bar near the end, do you remember that one as well last season? So same thing. Firpo, defensively, he got caught out a few times today. And Rothwell's passing, I mean, I think that's probably not the worst, it's a strong word, but not the best performance today from Rothwell that you know, I've seen. I don't know. He was off it today, even though it was great. I was happy he was back in the starting lineup, but it just didn't click today. And it's about that consistency, I think. Yeah,
they deserved it, Matt, didn't they? They just deserved it. I thought they set up really well. I thought they were good. They were good on the ball. I thought they were good off the ball. Here is he's back.
Apologies.
It's all right, mate. No, but I think they deserved it. I think, and you don't say that about a lot of teams, do you? You don't say that about a lot of teams coming away. So
no, well, they're, like I said, they're again a team that are a bit like Sunderland, where they caused us problems. Like they set up really well. All the players were up for it, and yeah, they've caused questions of us that we've struggled with slightly. And when we struggle with how teams are set up and maybe a bit surprised, then our consistency is then a bit dodgy and a bit under threat. So yeah, I didn't think West Brom gave up today. They kept going to the end, and I think they thought they could get something from us today. Again, with that confidence, rattled us a bit, I think, today.
Tom, is there something in 7 points out of the three toughest games of the season? Probably when you look at it, you know, when you look at obviously us coming up against second, fourth, and fifth, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think if you'd have said to me which order do you think your points would come in, I would have probably gone with it. Would have got a point at Bramall Lane and then would have won today. But I don't know, is it sort of a psychological thing that you've then beat Sheffield United on their own patch kind of thing? I generally think it was probably just a little bit of tiredness today. I think like the drama the last couple of weeks, scoring late on, and sort of getting that little bit of a reputation for the late goal kings kind of thing, if you like. I think it's probably just had a bit of a detrimental effect on us a little bit, and I think that's probably why he should have changed it up. And just before I was rudely cut off by someone at the door, I was just going to say that Dan James just looked really leggy last 10 minutes at Sheffield United, and then he looked very similar today. And I thought he was just crying out for Ramazani to come on and just give us a little bit of something different. I know Dan James had that chance really late on that he sort of lashed into the side netting, but he didn't do a great deal other than assist for a post goal, I didn't think, today.
No, I agree. I think he was. I said it during. Look, it's not a general thing on James. He's been one of the best players. I thought he was one of the worst players today. I just thought his passing efficiency when he was on the ball. He does this thing, lads. I don't know if you noticed when you will have done with James, and this isn't a general thing, but the one criticism I'd have of him is when he cuts in on that left foot. And invariably, it's never really a good connection that he gets from it. He cuts, and he did it a couple of times today. Did it in the first and the second half, actually. It was on the south stand side, actually, when he missed by about a yard. But when he's on that right-hand side and he's running onto it, if he just fizzes it across with that right foot and he cuts on that left-hand side, and it never works. It's 10% of the time it works. And he kills his angle. Yeah.
No, it does. I think he's obviously his weaker left foot. But he always insists on cutting in and sort of making that sort of curled ball in, and because he's not left-footed, he always ends up hitting the first man, and he did it numerous times second half. But we're just dying for somebody to just go to the byline like he normally does and just zip a ball back to sort of the edge of the 6-yard box. And Pirro didn't have a sniff today. He had a moment first half where I think he got caught in two minds whether to sort of play it across to James or take a shot on, and by the time he decided, he was closed down by 3 men. And then other than that, he didn't have a sniff today.
For me as well, like, you know, when you look at it, I look at this game today, but I think the drop off in actual quality in the division's massive. Matt, I think the division is really poor this year, and I know teams naturally improve. I get that. But I think the overall quality is pretty poor, mate. So when you look at the remaining fixtures, even like your Portsmouths and your Lutons, it should be sort of that Coventry and Watford scenario, shouldn't it? Where Leeds go away and just not blow them away as such, but beat them, and probably beat them well.
Yeah, I think so. The only thing I just would say a bit caution about that, mate, is as it always happens, as we get towards the end of the season, if we've got some of these guys fighting for their lives or trying to avoid relegation or just spoiling it for us, basically, they're going to be like up for it, and they may be a bit more challenged. But on paper, you think in these teams here, and some won't have anything to play for, we should be beating these teams in the last few games, no problems at all.
I think the big answer is Aronson's. I think Aronson's got to come out at the minute. I think he's just got to come out at the minute. I think he looks, if anything, he just looks knackered. He looks knackered, and he's I mean, he's just completely out of the game today. Out of the game.
Yeah.
We
were
can't.
saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying that before. Do you remember we had that rest when we played Harrogate? We was just saying before that, again, he looks knackered. Came back, had another couple of better games, but he's faded again badly. And we did say that this was going to happen. But, you know, we said earlier, he's Farke's favourite, isn't he? I think Tom said. So unless he's injured, he's not going to come out. And we've got 12 games left now. So Farke won't take him out. Like I said, unless he's injured, because he's that consistent person playing well or not in the side. But he needs a rest, I think, big time. But I don't think Farke's going to risk it now.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into a few comments. The result, fine, not the end of the world, but we're pulled out of shape and didn't play to our strengths out wide. We do have the easier running as well. Shout out to Dom, who's become a member. All says it's always an uphill battle when your number 10's best attribute is that he runs around a lot. Yeah, I guess and that's one for you, Tom. I'm sure all your friends would agree with that, mate.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you can't fault his work rate. He's God loves a trier, but trying will only take you so far. And I think it's sort of, you're really exposed in a Leeds team like ours, because we have a lot of the ball. He has a lot of chances to create, and he does very little of that. You don't see him like slipping a either needle pass through or creating some sort of skill or even lashing one from 25 yards or anything like that. He's just sort of he's just a passenger in a lot of our games recently. And I was sort of first to give him credit where credit was due earlier in the season. And he was busy. He was sort of creating, he was putting a lot of pressure on the back four and stuff of the opposition. But I just think I think it's probably time to come out of the team, but I probably agree. I don't know whether Farke's got the cojones to pull him out with 11 games to go and sort of rupture the apple cart a little bit, but who knows?
Well, to be fair as well, from memory, if memory serves right, and Tom lives in a dark world here. That's it, lads. By the way, Sheffield won. But Tom lives in a dark world. His brother is actually a Sheffield United fan. Can you believe that, Matt? But I think West Brom have drawn twice against them. I'm sure they went to Bramall Lane and got a point. It was Carl and Grant, wasn't it? I'm sure they got a point there. So
yeah,
I think they've got points against all of the top four now, obviously including Sunderland and Burnley. So not a bad outfit, and you're just hoping now we've got them out of the way, and that's it. That's it. Leeds have just got to look. We've got enough quality in the squad. He's got enough rotation. Is there anything? We'll go back to just Tom. For you, mate, is there anything in Ampadu been out? Is that a bit of a problem for you right now? Obviously, we know it's depth. We know he's the captain, but was there an impact of maybe him being absent today, or do you think that's not really like?
I mean, one of the lads put in our chat this morning that when we lost Ampadu, I think we lost him at home to Coventry when we won 3-0, and he went into that big tackle and he went off that game. I think we only ended up winning 3 of our next 6 or something like that. So there was sort of like a little bit of a drop off, but I just think his overall like leadership on the pitch and I don't know, just his physicality as well just gives you a little bit of something else. I thought Pascal looked really slow on the ball today, coming out of defence. There were times that Adam Armstrong sort of caught him on his second or third touch as he was sort of about to play it out of defence. He really got caught today, but I do think so. Yeah, I was really sort of disappointed when that news came through before the Sheffield United game that he was going to be out. I just hope it doesn't come back to bite us, because with Voba being out and I suppose DeBayo being our only cover at centre half, it doesn't give us a lot of cover if we lose Strauch or Rodon now.
And Joe Rodon always looks like today he went down, didn't he? And you're thinking, oh God, not again.
Yeah.
He always looks like he's injured, doesn't he? But then he gets up and breaks through it. But Lee said as well, international break could work for us this time. Give him time to rest up. Matt, are we relying on the international break at points this season? Should we be doing that?
I don't know. I don't know. That's that other problem, isn't it? The international break, those horrible words, because it's gone wrong before. Again, it's similar to just hoping that the squad is good enough now and having the rest will be a positive. I do have a better feeling this season than last around that, and I think people like Harrison, who will come back in. Yeah, we've got to make use of those rests and break, and just absolutely be on it after the break. But it's always a question mark sometimes, isn't it? But no, I just want to be positive about it. It's different to last year, different team, different squad. Yeah, we'll be fine, mate.
Definitely. All right, lads. Well, we'll leave it there. Really appreciate you coming on, guys. Make sure you're slapping a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and we're back with more stuff tomorrow. See you in a bit. Cheers.